Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back. This is session 3 of our event today called Knowing the Subjects. We've already had two absolutely fantastic webinars. One was called Knowing the Subject Practical Introduction, and the second was called Activating Grammar for Communication. Today, we are just about to start our third session. Our third session is called Teachers Share, and we've invited 3 primary teachers from all around the world to come and talk about what they do to make grammar and vocabulary meaningful in the classroom. So if you're a primary teacher, or even if you're not, then this is a really great session for you to join. Welcome. Say hi in the chat. Tell us where you are. I can see that there are teachers from Libya, from Guatemala, Azerbaijan again. Welcome back. From Egypt, from Pakistan. Well, I'm Melissa. I'm in Spain. This is Elizabeth in Chile, Payal in India, and Siphesihle in South Africa. So we are definitely all going all around the world today. All right, I think let's get ready to start. So we've got an interactive webinar here. We like for you to answer in the chat and to send us questions as well. You can Zoom, YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching. We're going to have 3 short presentations today, all about how we make vocabulary and grammar meaningful in the classroom. And our focus is on primary. So we're going to hear from each of the 3 teachers, and then we're going to have a question and answer session. So please think of questions for us to answer. So I think we can get ready to start. What do you think? Yeah. Well, Elizabeth and Siphesihle will say goodbye for a little while, and we'll say hello to Payal Zala in India. Hi, Payal, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What about you?
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm really good. Thank you so much for coming today. I mean, I think it's a really special event and it's such an important topic. So I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
What region of yeah, me too. What region of India are you joining from, Payal?
I am from Indore, Madhya Pradesh.
Okay, so if anyone is joining from the same region, say hi. Tell us where you are in the chat. Um, okay, let's get started. So let's just check. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? Is that showing okay? Yeah, you know, Payal, can you see the PowerPoint
Yes,
on the
yes,
screen?
yes, yes, I
Oh,
can.
okay, great. Brilliant. So I will turn off for now, but I'll come back later. Payal, over to you. I'm very pleased to present this session called How to Make Vocabulary Meaningful.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Hello, everyone. It's great to see you all from all around the world. So before we start the session, I would like you all to have one question in your mind, like how many words do our students learn in a year and how many do they actually use it? So keeping this in mind, we are going to start with the session about how to make vocabulary meaningful, right? Because vocabulary is just not just telling the meaning of the words, it is helping the kids to learn and express their ideas and thoughts in a meaningful, wonderful way. So we will start with the session. Next, please. These are the contents that we are going to explore. Next, so we will start this session with a wonderful activity wherein I want to ask, as in which word comes to your mind or what comes to your mind when you hear this word vocabulary lesson. It's like a worksheet or dictionary work or what. You can use your chat box. Okay, flashcards, wonderful. Meanings. Boring. Yes. So many students actually think that vocabulary lesson is something which they have to memorize and information to learn rather than a language to use, right? We'll do one more activity. Next, please. See, look at this picture. This activity is called One Picture, Many Words. So looking at this picture, which is the first thing that comes to your mind? Please type that in the chat box. Context, playground, childhood, park. Wonderful. Yes. So just tell me one thing. These words came to your mind because somebody told you the meaning of these words, or because you connected to this picture through your ideas and your experiences or emotions, right? So basically that is how a meaningful vocabulary develops. Yes, yes, fun, learn. So what is actually meaningful vocabulary? Next, please. So meaningful vocabulary means understanding a word, using it correctly, connecting it with your day-to-day experiences, recognizing that whenever you are reading anything, and using it whether while speaking or while writing. See, simply knowing the meaning of the word is not sufficient. It's not enough. A child may be knowing the meaning of a word, but he or she might hesitate to use that word. So the goal of meaningful vocabulary is to move from I know this word to I can use this word. So let's now reflect on our classrooms and answer to this question. Next, please. Why do children learn new vocabulary but rarely use it in their everyday conversations? This happens in our day-to-day life, right? We make the child learn, but they do not use it in their day-to-day life. So why are they not able to use it? Please answer in the chat box. Yes, no real emotions. Exactly, exactly. Less practice because they hesitate. Yes. So this will now, the next slide will tell you what or why do we actually need meaningful vocabulary. Next, please. Yes, see, as you said, most of the kids, they memorize the words for the tests, right? And then because of less retention power, they are not able to remember it. They forget it very easily. And when it comes to speaking or writing, they just struggle with the new words. So basically, or they are not getting enough of opportunity to use that word, or they are not able to relate that word with their own experiences, right? So that is why meaningful vocabulary is very much important, so that their retention is for a longer time. And now I will tell you a 4-step framework which will help you to introduce meaningful vocabulary in the classroom. Next, please. So it is a very simple framework which you can start from the very next day. So step 1 says experience the word, right? So before directly giving the definition of that word, allow the student to experience the meaning of that word. When they will experience it, they will feel connected to it, right? For example, the word is excited, right? So ask them that, can you tell me when was the time that you felt excited? So now student will be able to connect to that word. Next, step 2 is see the word. Make the word more visible, right? Because the children remember better when they see it more. So make the word more visible, either by using pictures, gestures, objects, facial expressions, or some real life examples. Next, please. Step 3 is talk about the word. Give them the opportunity to discuss about that word. Ask some questions about it, right? Like, when can someone be generous, or can a place be beautiful? So the more they will discuss, it will help to deepen their understanding. And step 4 is use the word, right? So the word becomes a part of the child's vocabulary only if they are given a chance to use it independently. So ask them to use it either by creating sentence, doing role play, or asking them to draw anything related to that word. Sorry, write short stories about it. So these are the 4 steps which you can use to introduce meaningful vocabulary, for due to which the children will be able to retain it for a longer period of time. I will explain you this through a short example. Next, please. For example, if the word is generous, right? So directly teaching the meaning of that, instead of directly teaching the meaning of that word, you can start with a short story. Like generous means, for example, instead of directly saying the meaning, you can say Ria was a little girl who saw that any of the child has not brought lunch to the school. So she thought of sharing her lunch. Have you ever shared lunch with or any other thing with your friend? So after doing that, how did you feel? Right? So by this, they are now able to connect to that word with their own experiences. Then show them the picture related to that word. Then ask them questions about it. And at the end, you can ask the children to do role play or frame a sentence using the word generous. So now they have connected this word to their experience, emotion, and action, which makes it easy for them to remember and use it in future. I would now like to share two activities with you which you can use in your classroom, right, to make vocabulary learning fun. Next, please. So first activity is synonym challenge. In this, what you have to do is say a simple word and ask the students to say as many synonyms as they can and give them the time limit of 20 seconds. Let's try this activity with you, with all of you, right? You can use the chat box and write the synonyms of happy. Let's see how many you can. Yes, glad, blessed, thrilled, excited, wonderful. Great. Yes. So this is the activity which you can do in your classroom. It will enhance the vocabulary network of the kids. Next is alphabet race, in which you can give a particular alphabet to the kids and ask the students to tell as many adjectives as possible starting with that alphabet. For example, let's see, type the adjectives that are starting with B. Alphabet B. Beautiful, boring, yes, boldly, brave, brilliant, bossy, nice. So even kids will enjoy this, and it will basically strengthen their vocabulary recall, and they will also feel excited and they will enjoy this activity. So at the end, before we finish this session, I would like you to answer two last questions in the chat box. Next, please. Did you enjoy this session? And what is your takeaway from this session? Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining. And I hope you have learned something today, which you will definitely use it in your classroom. Thank you so much.
Thanks. That was lovely. It was really great with so many great ideas. Can you hear me okay? Somebody told me that my audio wasn't very good. Yeah, Payal,
I can hear you.
you can hear me now. It's all right. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Great, brilliant. So thanks very much. I will say goodbye for now, but please, everyone, ask questions because Payal will come back. She'll be back in about half an hour after we hear from our other two presenters. So once again, thanks, Payal. But let's welcome Siphesihle to now talk about her ideas. Siphesihle, are you there? Hello. Welcome. Oh, you're on mute. We can't hear you
Hi,
yet.
I am here.
Hi, Sihle. So I'll tell
Can
the audience a
you hear
little
me
bit
now?
about you, but yes, I can. Yeah, we can. We can. So Sihle is a teacher from South Africa, and she also teaches primary, very young learners, and she's got some great ideas for us. So Sihle, are you ready to start?
Yes,
Brilliant.
I am ready to start.
Fantastic. You can share your slides and I'll let you know that we can see them.
Can you see my
Brilliant.
slides?
Yeah, they're there.
Okay.
Great. So I'll pass over to you now, Sihle, and I'll come back at the end. Everyone have a really great time with Sihle, who is also Miss Cece. Is that right?
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
She told me earlier that's what her students call her. So today, let's be her students. All right, Sihle, over to
Yes,
you.
yes. All right. Thank you so much, Melissa. So, hi everyone. My name is Siphesihle, Sihle for short, or you could just call me Miss Sisi, as my students call me. I am from the lovely South Africa. My teaching pedagogy is basically built on three things: English, drama, and technology. Why drama? Drama builds confidence, it builds creativity, it builds charisma, and most importantly, it helps kids to have the most fun that they can have. English, of course, because it's a globally spoken language, and technology, because technology is both digital and traditional. So today we're looking at an interactive way to teach grammar and vocabulary. Now, my biggest thing that we're going to focus on today is I can. These are action verbs that we can think of and that we can use. So my prompt question for your lower level primary schools would be, what is it? And for your higher levels would be, what can you do? So we kind of separate the two because what can you do is a bit of a mouthful for lower level primary, but what is it is also feels a bit too low level for higher primaries, you know? Oh yeah, Bishima, that's great. Run, jump, walk, talk. You are ahead of me. I want to know from everyone in the chat, in the comments, have you ever wondered why flashcards remain the biggest tool in children's learning? Anyone want to answer that quickly in the chat box? I would love to hear your thoughts. Why are flashcards still the biggest tool? Yes, flashcards. Nice, Shireen, visual. Yes, it's all visuals and we love visuals. Someone said to help them recognize. Christine, visualizations. Muller, nice, to grab their attention. Someone said quick memorization. So many big comments that I love. And I'm going to repeat what you said basically. An article I read said that they basically help with word isolation. Nice. Someone said effective. They help a lot with word isolation. They also help with a lot of collocations. And most importantly, they incorporate technology. They also make it more active, as Asma has mentioned. So some of the verbs that we can look at are run, jump, dance, sing, talk. So I want to know from all of you in the chat box, in the comment, what kinds of real year do you tend to use when teaching your children? Nice, Shirley. Visual and effective to retain memory. Oh, Pooja says engage. Nice. Oh, Alvina says audio video. Nice, nice, nice. Easy says puppet. Love puppet. I grew up having puppeteers. Nice, so many objects, pictures, videos, drama, sedunar, that's beautiful. Real fruits, yes, realia also means having the real thing. Love all the comments down below. So you're probably wondering, okay, Miss Cici, you're saying so much, but how do I teach this? How do I bring it to my kids? Remember, our question basis is what is it? So here I like to use a lot of TPR. For reference, is total physical response. Total physical response remains the biggest tool to keep kids engaged, to keep them active, and most importantly, to keep them interactive and collaborate well together. So, say for example, we have our statement, I can. On the basis that we've already taught this methodology to my kids and how to use it, I would usually say I represents my head, can represents my shoulders, and when I clap my hands, I will say whatever the verb is. Say my verb is jump. So I would say I can jump, right? But I want to take it a step further in case not everyone will remember. I would like to ask Melissa, can you please just come and help me so we can show an example to our audience? Melissa, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, Miss Cici. Thank you.
So, thank you. So, Melissa is going to be my student. So, Melissa, can you put your hand on your head? Say,
I
I can.
I can jump.
Oh, good job, Melissa. Okay, one more time. Together, together. 1, 2, 3.
I can
Can
jump.
Good job. Yay, Melissa. Melissa. So say the presence that Melissa. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Good job. Good job.
I
Good job. Good job.
I can jump. I can jump. Cool.
Thank you so much, Melissa,
Thanks,
for your
teacher.
help.
I enjoyed it.
So
It's great.
essentially, the reason why I would like to ask my kids whether they would like for me to sort of drill this in a fast or slow way, it's to help them collaborate together. It's to share, it's to also problem solve together, because not everyone will want to do it fast, but also not everyone will want to do it slow. So they also have to like compromise from a young age. And also it teaches them the 21st century skills of being autonomous learners, which is the best thing that we want for them. So now you're probably wondering, but how can I consolidate this in the best way? So we have our first game. So my first game would be you give the learners a whiteboard or a white marker or a pen and paper. Everything is literally dependent on the resources that are available to you. And you give them 20 seconds to draw the action you will say. So here you have the option to either say the action or to mime the action. It's totally up to you. 20-second timer could be digital, could be physical, stopwatch, anything according to your resources. And the winner gets to mime the action like the teacher. This is where drama comes back, because now we're role playing as the teacher. Our second game would then be the old school musical chairs. Musical chairs, where I take the flashcards, I have printed them out, and I place them on the chairs, and I play music. So I then play music. If you can find music in YouTube that has to do with what you are trying to teach, then this will be the best option for you as well, to kind of drill again what you're trying to teach. And then when the music stops, the learner who is sitting asks, holding the flashcard in their hand, "Oh, what is it?" And then the learner standing says, "I can jump." So remember to always make sure that they use the TPR as a drilling method. Okay, and then the third game would be placing the flashcards around the classroom and assigning teams. So one person from each team will then mime the action. So they pretend they're a teacher once again, and another one from the other team rushes around the classroom to find it. The first person to bring it back and use the TPR to the person in their team. Once again, "I can jump." Then they win points. Keynote with my classes, or I believe all of us as teachers, we have to make sure that each team will at least get 1 point, to sort of keep it more competitive and interactive. And the final game would then be to place the flashcards on the floor with enough distance from each other. Could be portrait, could be landscape, depending on the size of your classroom. And we have the learners hold hands in pairs, so almost standing in front of each other, holding hands, and then they jump onto the flashcards in front of them while saying it. So, "I can jump." Next one. "I can run." Next one. And can get a little bit busy, but it works very well. If you are on the larger side of the classroom and you have like a teacher assistant, print double flashcards if you can. Doesn't have to be laminated, could be paper. Just tell the kids to be careful. It also works really well. So in the comments, I would like to know from all of you, which activity are you most likely to try, or have you tried, and why? Please let me know down in the chat below. Oh, Punja says 3. Natasha says 3. Oh, someone said all of them. Wow, a lot of people are saying all of them. Hira says 4. Oliver says 2 and 4. Someone said musical chairs. I would love to try all of them. I hope you all get to try all of them. Wow, lovely musical chairs. Maria says 1 and 4. That is absolutely beautiful. Now, okay, Miss Sisi, you're teaching me all of this, but why does it matter? Because number one, it creates authentic language communication. if we take musical chairs, for example, we are creating a space where the student is able to recognize. So if someone asks me, what is it or what can you do? I can say, oh, wait, I know I can jump. And it also creates a cultural awareness in a sense, because you have kids who have possibly not engaged with each other at some point, now having to engage. And it may not be in spoken word, but one kid will realize, oh, I don't know you. Oh, maybe we could become friends later on. Number two, you get a lot of engagement and interactiveness from the learners. Number three, you have scaffolding. Four, you have effective language retention. And five, the most important, critical thinking. Through the games, they're very competitive. They collaborate, they problem solve. Sometimes they can even brainstorm a strategic way to make sure that they all become first. And all of this is from Ahmadova 2025. So just a little key tip from me, Miss Cici. Through my years of teaching and observing, I believe that primary school learners do not only benefit from routines, they also benefit from play-based learning, which includes dynamic learning, repetitive exercises, and problem solving. If you take this with you, you will notice better language retention and kids who are confident enough to make mistakes because it means that they are trying. And that's it for my presentation. Thank you for listening. Please do find me on LinkedIn if you're interested, Siphesihle Simelane. And yes, thank you so much. Over to you, Melissa.
Thanks so much, Miss Cece. I enjoyed that a lot. I hope I was a good student, or at least an adequate student.
You were the best student.
Thanks. Brilliant. Well, ask any questions you want about those activities, but we will say goodbye to Cece and we'll welcome Elizabeth. Elizabeth in Chile, are you there? Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, lovely to
Melissa.
see you. Hi. So we've got teachers from all over the world today. And we've got another very young learner teacher here today. So Elizabeth in Chile, you teach the under fives, is that right? Really young learners.
Yes, I teach very young learners from 3 years old to 5 or 6, which is kindergarten here.
Okay, amazing, amazing. So if that's your age group, you're going to get lots of ideas. And even if it isn't, I think these ideas can be kind of up through primary as well. So, Elizabeth, I'll pass over to you. When you're ready, you can share the screen and get started.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here today. I'm going to share my slides, so please tell me if you can look at it.
Yeah, I
Can you see?
see it. It's there for me. Yeah, great. Okay, I'll leave you and I'll come back at the end. Have a good time with Elizabeth, everyone.
Thank you very much. Welcome to all of you. I'm Elizabeth, and I'm going to teach today about grammar and vocabulary with very young learners. So, first of all, I'm going to start with a true or false. Please let me in the chat with the first question. Young learners and tools can learn grammar. What do you think? True or false? Please put in the chat. Some of you says yes. You can say no. They are very young for that. No, yes. Right. So let's finish. It can, and it's true, young learners and tools can learn grammar. And many people think that grammar is too difficult for young learners. However, children can acquire grammatical patterns when language is presented in a meaningful and enjoying context. Okay, so that can be true. Let's see the other one. We should teach vocabulary before grammar. What do you think? True or false? True, okay. Some of you think that you have to teach grammar first and then vocabulary before grammar. Okay. Both. Okay, let's see. And it's false because vocabulary and grammar can be taught together through meaningful language. Okay, some of you can They are very young, so we cannot go straight away to grammar, but instead we can teach them both, okay? So, this presentation mainly was the usage-based theory of Tomacello. I don't know if you've heard of it, which says that children can learn language through meaningful language interactions and repeated exposure to language patterns. This idea also connects with Krashen's theory of a second language acquisition in 1982. So it says that language is learned through use, children learn through meaningful interaction, grammar emerges from repeated language patterns. Yes, of course, everyone can learn when it is meaningful, okay? And also, which states that language is acquired when learners are exposed to it, to meaningful and comprehensible input, okay, rather than through explicit grammar instructions. But first of all, we need to know what level are we teaching and their characteristics. So when we are talking about young learners, we have to know that they have a very short attention span, sorry. They need a lot of movement. You cannot expect them to be seated all the time because they are not going to be seated. They are very concrete. We have to use a lot of realia so they can look at it. Learn through playtime interaction with others, okay? That will be playing. They have to play all the time. So at the beginning, I thought that I couldn't be able to teach very young kids, especially with the ones that were 3 years old, because they want to play all the time. However, after that, I realized that we have to teach by playing with them. So having in mind, instead of teaching grammar rules first, I create opportunities for children to hear how through classroom routines, songs, chants, attention grabbers. There are many attention grabbers that we have to use them all the time. It's story time, using big books, and a lot of games. Now, let me know in the chat, how easy is it for you to plan an English language class for very young learners? 1 is very difficult, 10 is very easy for you. What do you think? How easy for you? Okay, for you is very difficult. 6, wow, good. I can see some of you have 1, a 3 or 4. 8, that's good. Yeah, it depends of the kind of class. Very good, thank you. So now I'm going to say, how can you plan a class for a very young learners? And I divided as all the classes in 3, a pre-activity, the main activity, and the post-activity. So in the pre-activity, when you're teaching little kids, it's very important to look at their routines. Classroom routines for them are very special because after a period of time, they know what comes next. Okay, so you can teach a hello song, maybe the weather song that you have. Then you can try the mood of the kids. How are you? And they can go to the board maybe to press if they are happy or if they are sad or if they are sleepy. Can you see the picture? I use this hammer that has a sound, so they love to participate it. I projected the pictures, for example, in this case, the weather. And then I ask, how is the weather like today? Or I sing a song and they say, today is sunny or today is windy. And I go like Miss Sisi said, today is windy. And you go like this. Today is sunny. And you go a lot of movements. So they love to participate with that. Then I introduced the main topic, which I love, this magic bag. I did it myself with a shoebox, and then I put inside whatever comes next. For example, if I'm teaching about fruits, I can put a real fruit inside so they can go and think about it. And I say, what do you think that I have inside? Do you want to see? And in this mystery bag, they can go and touch, they can feel it, they can guess. So they start laughing because they don't know what is going to be inside. And they put, some of them are very nervous about that, or they're very happy to guess. And then if they guess it, you can maybe give them a sticker or a prize. There are a lot of things, or maybe a medal that you can carry on in your classes. So it's very helpful for your classes. So let me see in the chat. Have you used this magic bag or this mystery bag in your classes? Or maybe do you have another idea to introduce a topic? Okay, thank you for participating. Some of the, I never use it. A magic box, yes. Like they love it, right? Mimic, that's a very good idea too. Yeah, when we're teaching about, for example, animals, you can use a mimic. But for example, if I'm saying maybe learning about colors, how can we mime that? Maybe I can say, okay, go and touch the color red, and then you go on the red one. But when they are very young, ESL students with 3, maybe 4 years old, sometimes it comes difficult because they are very shy. At the beginning, they are crying because they are not used to be at school. So at the beginning, it's a little bit difficult for them. Nice. So then we have the main activities. And here, after that you using the magic bag, you can maybe throw a dice. And then I use these dice. They love it because and they throw maybe the dice, and I put the flashcards on the floor. And for example, they throw it and says number 3, and they steps on the flashcard and jump 1, 2, 3. What is it? And they have to say maybe it's red or it's an apple. I don't know, depending of the picture that you're teaching. Always you have to think about the objective. Or maybe I put it on the floor and they can jump, or you can put it on the whiteboard if you have some, on the walls. For example, I was teaching colors and I projected a rainbow. So I was using these color balls, and then I said, okay, go and pick up the red balls, and then they have to throw it into a sellotape, because I put sellotape on the board and they kind of stick the balls. So they love throwing it and all that. They are using a lot of TPR too. And also you can maybe do a story time using a big books. So you can ask, what is the main character, or what is it? What color is it? Is it big? Is it small? Okay, so you can ask a lot of questions with that. Is the duck, that's the duck says moo? No, you see, so you're using a lot of sounds too. And then at the post activity, at the end of the class, when you're just teaching, for example, colors or animals or whatever you want to teach, they can finish or end up maybe with a handcraft. I remember that I was reading a story about this brown bear. I was teaching the color brown. And then at the end, they could do their own mask of a brown bear. So they were like saying this, I'm a brown bear, I'm brown, look at me. And I was saying, for example, am I a cow? No, you are a bear. And they started repeating, you are a bear, and that you're using grammar, and they repeat it. And also, maybe you can do a presentation, like a talking point, or at the end, they can play with a lot of Play-Doh or blocks. And then you say, what are you doing? What is it? It's a dinosaur. And you emphasize on it's a dinosaur. What color is it? It's red, it's brown. And then they are using grammar and vocabulary. Yes, just by repeating themselves. They just acquire the language because for them, they are playing. It's very meaningful for them. So which are the benefits of this type of activities? Well, of course, vocabulary incocted with repetition is easy to learn for them, enhances vocabulary and grammar acquisition because you are approaching also to reading, writing, and of course, you are using speaking and listening at the same time. Children enjoy stories even if they do not understand them, they are just repeating. Music, of course, with movement is even more activating. Of course, is very helpful for you to look at some grammar. I'm sorry, attention grabbers. So they know what comes next. So they know that at the beginning of the story you are doing an activity, then comes activity, the main activity, or maybe a song, and then you can look for a song that goes maybe to put the things away, and they know what is coming next. And of course, improves memory and pronunciation for them because they are repeating all the time. So please tell me in the chat which activities are you going to try in your next lesson. Are they helpful for you? What do you think now? Is it easier for you now to maybe plan a class with very young learners, which are talking about, yes, with another language? Role model, nice. Dice and flashcards. The dice is a very good option. All of them, magic box. Yes, the dice. The balls are very good. Sometimes maybe you can put the balls and on the table you put it like that, and then you say throw the red balls, and they just throw the balls and they roll over. Or maybe now is the turn of the blue balls, and then I say, okay, now you have to pick them up from the floor, all the yellow balls, and then they're putting away themselves and they tidy up. So it's a very good game too. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. I have also a lot of songs and activities in my Instagram, which is English slash with Miss Ellie, and I have there are some videos about my activities with young learners too. Thank you very much to all for participating in the chat.
Thanks. And of course, thanks to Elizabeth for such lovely ideas. Really cool, really nice ideas, especially to get learners moving a lot. And I think that's super important. All right. Now we've heard from all three presenters. Let's welcome them back and let's have a question and answer session. We're here to help you use any of these activities in your class next week, because that's what we hope that you will do. So, welcome back, Payal. Welcome back, Siphesihle.
Hello.
Let's take questions. What do you want to ask? Do you want to ask anything to Payal, to Siphesihle, Elizabeth, or just anything in general about teaching primary learners and about grammar and vocabulary and how it can be meaningful? Okay, so anything connected with that, we would welcome your questions. All right, well, I think I'll start with a couple of questions I've noted down. Let me see. So I've got one that I wrote down that I don't have the teacher's name, but it's for Payal, and it asks, do you think these ideas can also work for secondary learners? Have you ever taught secondary with some of these ideas? What would you say?
So it basically works for the students of grade 3 to 5, right? Of age group around 11.
Okay.
8 to 11 years, yes. So you can use these ideas with them. And if they are younger kids, then definitely the second strategy of showing the word more in the classroom through ideas and emotions and pictures, that will work more with them.
Yeah, yeah. And I think another good piece of advice to this teacher is just try things once. Um, if they like it, you could do it again. Maybe not the drawing, I'm thinking for older secondary, but all the kind of questions to make it personal, right? And the synonyms activity.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can. Yes, synonym activity. Plus, you can ask them to write stories. That would be good for them,
Mm,
right?
I
Related to
like it.
that word, narrate any story. So that will help them. Yes. Or any dialogue writing can be done.
Ooh, dialogue writing. Oh, I really like that as an activity because then it's pairs working together,
Yes,
using the vocabulary, and it becomes meaningful because they chat about it. Yeah, that sounds nice.
definitely.
Sihle definitely agrees
Yes.
too. She's nodding.
I can I just add, I definitely think it could work with secondary. So I say you're a kid. I will embarrass you for your own good. Because I find that as much as it feels weird and a little bit embarrassing, they actually do begin to engage more when it comes to, taking those, even just the simple drawing. You find some kids who are actually better visual learners, so drawing is like tapping into that visual stream, and you get to ask, oh, you love drawing, tell me more, tell me about this and that. So it's a bit of a touchy one, but it also can really work well with secondary if they're in the best mood.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So as an adult, I'm learning a language, and sometimes my teacher uses flashcards, like you, Cecily. Okay, I don't do the kind of I can jump, but she holds up the flashcard and we repeat the words, and it feels fine. And I'm an adult, so secondary, I think they could use it as well. I mean, Cecily, have you ever used flashcards with secondary? How do you feel about that?
I have used flashcards at secondary actually.
Mhm.
I think it works slightly better because also, like we say, flashcards help with like language retention, especially when it's something I think they're not prone to. Having that bit of realia also helps a lot. That way I know that
Yeah.
they actually do understand it. So I stand with you that like even as adults, no matter the age, flashcards and realia are always like my go-to.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, Elizabeth uses lots of real things in her class in her magic bag. But I think that holding up real things for adults and secondary would work well. Yeah, thanks for that.
Yes, also I'm
Um,
teaching, for example, now I'm teaching adults in another council here in Chile, and I use it, for example, a ball, and I say maybe adults don't want to play, and they love it. Maybe throw the ball and saying, okay, what's your name? How old are you? Like personal information. And I have maybe a man with 75 years old, and he's
uh-huh.
learning English too. With this ball, you can throw it, and then someone asks, and then the other ones answer. They just love it. So maybe I think that all these activities can be adapted to all the ages.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so too. Yeah, we don't need to be super serious in the secondary classroom and the adult classroom. We can have fun as well, can't we? It also is like a distraction, right? It's just a break in the routine, and sometimes that can be good. Yeah. All right, let's look for other questions because I see quite a lot. Let me find one. Um, so, how, here's a question, maybe I think it's a general question from Asma. How do you manage time for all of these activities? Because all of these activities are kind of creative and fun. How do you make sure that they don't kind of get out of hand and they just want to keep on playing or keep on drawing or or
Well,
spend too much time making the craft? Any tips?
when I'm talking
Elizabeth.
about tools, yeah, when I'm talking about tools or young learners, it's hard.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
lying with you. It's very tough with them because they want to play all the time, but it's very important for them to know the routines of the class. And you have to be very strict with them. Like you can play with that, but also you have to be strict because you can cause a lot of accident in these levels. So first of all, I think that classroom language is very useful. Attention grabbers are very important. You know, sing a song, but there are you can look for songs. There are a lot of them. Attention grab like 1, 2, 3. You know, like they follow the attention grabber. So they know that when they listen to this song, they have to be seated or they have to stand up. And there are songs like stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, sit down. And they are like starting laughing and looking at you like, Miss Elizabeth is playing now again. And also the timing is very important, as I read in the comments. I think that no more than 10 to 15 minutes for each activity. So, for example, in a class of 45 minutes or 1 hour maybe, you need to plan a lot of activities
Yeah.
and change it in maybe between 10 or 15 minutes, I say.
To just to make
Some of them
the
are larger classes.
Yes. Yes, I do
Yeah.
agree. Lesson planning is very important when it comes to activities in the class so that we do not miss out actually with our lessons.
Yeah.
So 10 to 15 minutes of the activity so that the kids also have fun and they learn
Uh-huh.
in a better way.
Yeah, that's a good tip. That kind of changing helps a lot. Um, I saw a question that's come in for Siphesihle, Miss Cece, and it's about NAS and it's about error correction. How do you do error correction in the activities like the flashcard activities? Do you correct them kind of at that moment, or do you just wait and correct afterwards? Have you got any kind of typical things that you do?
So one typical thing I would do is actually ask the friends and be like, guys, is it I can jump? Hmm? And then they'll be like, no, miss. I'm like, so what is it? And then together they all look at the friend kind of and be like, it's I can sing. I'm like, okay, one more. I can sing. So I play a little bit of a devil's advocate. Instead of me correcting them, I actually listed from the students what it could potentially be. This is maybe if they're high level, but if they're lower level, I would try my mid, like, okay, it's just say jump. And then later on, I would almost like pick on the student again to make sure that they understood that I did say I can jump. And usually I do find it works a whole lot better if I actually ask the friends to kind of correct them as opposed to me, because that way it
Uh-huh.
almost feels like it's a bit not okay all the time, because like they don't want to embarrass themselves, but also you know that they'll kind of get the language, so sometimes if I can tell that it's a bit too much, I say, okay, no guys, it's okay, mistakes happen, it's say I can jump, try one more time. And just on the timing of everything, I do think that it is actually, it depends, like on a 45-minute class you have like your 5-minute warmer, 5-minute closing, 10 to 15 minutes of teaching the language. I will play devil's advocate. I think play-based learning is teaching and games are teaching. So you have to have differentiated teaching, but also the routine part, say, guys, we're only going to do this 3 times. After 3 times, we're done. And if they beg you, you have to just negotiate. I'm more of a let's negotiate teacher than I am a okay, let's do it by the book, especially if I know that I know they have it and they definitely understand it.
Yeah, I can see that they'll probably definitely ask for more. So maybe you tell them 3 times, but you know it's going to be 5 times.
Yes, definitely.
That could work. Yeah, that's good advice. Yeah, playing is learning, isn't it? Definitely. Somebody wrote a comment while we were talking, and Karen says an activity that my students love is correcting mistakes. She says correcting the teacher or other students, they absolutely love it. So yeah, that's a great technique. Let's go to another question that I saw for kind of everyone, and yeah, let's throw it out there. This is from somebody watching on Facebook, and they say, so how do you actually introduce grammar without telling them the rule? Because this is a teacher that usually kind of explains the rule. But are you doing that with young learners? Just to be clear, are these activities explaining before, or what happens? Elizabeth says no.
No, for example, I don't teach like today we are learning present simple. No, you don't use that on tools. You are just repeating, for example, what do you like? Do you like, I don't know, apples or bananas? And they
Mhm.
say, I like apples. What does she like? She like or she likes? She likes bananas. And they are
Mhm.
repeating just repetition. I'm not saying, for example, I like or she likes, and you add the S at the end. No, you don't teach that until in young learners. And I think that higher levels also, when you're teaching grammar, where ESL students are more difficult. That when you teach it by practicing it or just by heart, like normally with other activities.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So there's definitely still learning it, they're repeating it, they'll be able to use it. And that's what we want at the end of the day. Let's go to Payal for a question about large classes. And yeah, how do you work with large classes? Have you ever experienced being in a very big classroom with like 35, 40 or more learners? Can you still do these type of activities where you ask them all to give answers? Does it still work?
Yes, we do. I have experienced a classroom of around 40 kids, right?
Yeah.
So then what we do is we divide the kids into groups, and that
Mm,
becomes easy, as in they work as a team. They also learn about teamwork, and they work as a team as an answer, and the whole team gets the reward. So with larger group, you can do it if not individually, but in a group.
yeah, yeah, I think that would definitely work. And if you're going to do any of these games, you could have a group leader or something like that as well. That could
Yes,
work.
definitely. And ask them to divide the task within themselves. For example, you are asking them to do a story writing, right? So just throw
Mhm.
some words and let them create their own story. One let them divide the work. One who is good at drawing, they will create the drawing related to the story. One who is good at narrating part, he or she will be presenting the story. One who is good with
Mhm.
the writing part, he or she will write the story. So that is how they will divide the work, and that is how they will learn.
Yeah, so it's creating a learner-centered classroom. This is just my curiosity. Elizabeth and Sihle, do you ever give the flashcards to the students? Elizabeth, do you ever give the magic bag to the students? Or is that a disaster?
Dep Depending of the class, because if I give it to them, they can fight. I want it too in their own language, of course.
Yeah.
So what do I do? For example, if I'm teaching, I don't know, Arévalo, I can't remember class. I put a teddy bear inside, and I was teaching toys. So I give them the car, and then I pass it one by one the car, and then I just start asking questions because the other ones get bored while they are waiting, and they are starting hitting themselves. You know, that they are like babies. So for example, I'm passing the car around and I'm asking the other ones, oh, look at the car. What color is the car? Is this car fast or is it slow? And it's slow motion, and they say they're slow and it is slow, and they are repeating grammar while they're watching it and touching it, all that. So
Mhm.
I give them to them when they are seated in a horseshoe shape,
Okay.
because there are big classes like 20, 25. Some of them were 30, 35 students. So I sit them in a horseshoe shape, and they know they have to wait their turns. Otherwise, they won't they won't have the opportunity to touch the
Yeah.
toys. You see, so they have a classroom management too. But and the magic bag, no, I did that with my material, so maybe you can see it and then touch it,
Yeah.
but I don't give it to them because otherwise they are going to like pull it.
Yeah, I can see that there are some things that are your teaching materials and you've got to protect
Yeah.
them, right?
And
Yeah.
also it's time consuming. I mean, to know to create all these materials and to create all these lessons are time consuming, of course. So I put a lot of time constructing and building this bag, and I also use it in all the classes. I mean, you can
Yeah.
recycle your own materials too.
Yeah, got to protect them. We've just run out of time, everyone. I'm sorry we don't have time to answer all the questions because there are a lot. If you have more questions about vocabulary and grammar, you can come to the Facebook Live session next week with the presenter from the last session, Jane. That'll be another chance to ask questions about this topic. But for now, we'll say goodbye. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, so much, Payal, and so much, Siphesihle. That was wonderful. We had lots of fun. And thanks to the moderators, to Joe, to Ian, to Marcus, and thanks to all the teachers all around the world who gave us all their ideas. We'll see you either next week for the Facebook Live, or we'll see you in the next event, which is the 21st of August. And we'll put links for that into the chat and the comments. It's about creating learner-centered language classrooms. It's going to be a good one with presenters from all around wider Europe. So thanks for watching, everyone, today. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.